Hi, welcome to Gridbusters. Today what I want to do is go through the costings. How much did this 11 kilowatt solar system actually cost? So this system actually does produce 11 kilowatts of power at peak, and we're actually getting that today, for instance, from the system. We've got 32 panels in total. We've got 32 kilowatt hours of battery. We've got a 15 kilowatt inverter. So what I want to do today is run through how much all the components cost, how much it all costs to put together, so that you can kind of like work out exactly how much the system may cost if you would like to install something similar. So there are a few things within the costings which I'm not going to include, and the main thing I want to not include in the costing are the tools, because you might be able to get the tools cheaper where you live. I've bought things for my installation which I'm sure other people wouldn't want to purchase. Some things you probably do want to purchase are things like a hydraulic press for crimping your connectors. I mean, these hydraulic presses, I think they cost about €100 in total or something. So, but I've bought things like the vise, the bench grinder, spanners, torque wrenches, bits and pieces, things like this. And we also bought a very expensive scaffolding tower for putting the panels on the roof. Now, normally you could probably rent a scaffolding tower, but as it happened, we actually needed a scaffolding tower for doing some building work on the property, for cutting our hedges and so forth. So I'm going to put down in the costings, which isn't actually going to be included in the final price. We spent roughly, I reckon, about €1,000 on tools. That's probably a little bit on the high side. I think it might be actually less than that, but I think about €1,000 just on tools. The scaffolding tower was the most expensive thing, so that was €4,000, the scaffolding tower, and that is an 11-meter tall scaffolding tower, and we actually bought a second set of wheels for it, and we were able then to split the scaffolding tower in half and have two 6-meter towers. And that enabled us very easily then to push the solar panels up, to basically lift them up in a two-stage process onto the top of the scaffolding tower, and also the roofing as well. So €5,000 is kind of like what we spent on tools, but like I said, you wouldn't necessarily need to spend that much. That's just what we spent. So I'm not going to include that in the final cost, but I just wanted to include it just so that you can get an idea of what else we spent our money on. So other tools which we purchased, I've got things like a bench power supply, a soldering station, obviously the crimping tools, torque wrenches, things like that, drill press, all these little things. These prices do add up. So €1,000 on tools, €4,000 for the scaffolding tower. Now, there's a couple of other things I don't want to include in the price, and that is the actual roofing. So in order to put the solar panels on the roof itself, we decided to replace the roof on the barn, because the previous roof was a very rusty corrugated iron. And to be honest, we probably could have put the panels directly on that. However, we have always wanted to replace the roof on the barn. So we decided to kind of like do it all within the same job. So we actually spent €15,000 on the new roofing structure. That included the metal, that includes the gutters, the downpipes, and also the labour. I actually hired Jude the builder, and I was obviously labour as well. So the two of us did that within a month. So that included his payment, because he charges like a daily fee, and then obviously the materials for the roof. And it's kind of like annoying, really. We did all this during the materials shortage, so a lot of these prices were very, very high at the time. Right now you can get a lot of this stuff much cheaper, which is really irritating. Okay, so you have to bear with me. I've got all the details of everything, so let's go. So I'm not including that in the actual final price. And now there was like a wooden structure which we had to put in the roof, like to help support the roof for the solar panels, and I am going to include that in the costings. So let's go through everything out here. So we have 32 solar panels, and the cost of those 32 solar panels was €3,658. The next thing is the racking system. So we actually purchased 4 racking systems for the solar panels, and that is which enables us basically to screw the solar panels directly to the roof. And those 4 racking systems cost €1,678. The next thing is the cable. So cable was actually very expensive, and I'm going to, so there's two sets of cables. There's the solar cable, so that's all the cables that come down from the roof and then come into the plant room. But there's also all the DC cable in the plant room, which we'll have a look at in a moment. But all of the cabling came to 2,098 euros. The two solar combiner boxes, 160 euros. All of the extra timber we had to put in the roof and the screws, 1,300 euros. So now we come to the more expensive side of the project, and the most expensive thing is the Quattro inverter, which is this thing here. So this is a 15 kilowatt inverter. That cost 5,682 euros. The next thing are the two charge controllers. Now, the thing with this equipment, it seems to be coming down in price all the time. And like I said, we did buy during the peak. And I bought these two charge controllers at like a month apart, or no, maybe 3 months apart. So the prices were different. So for the first charge controller, I paid 1,400 euros. And for the second charge controller, I paid 1,249 euros. Incidentally, I'm about to order another one, because we're going to expand the system, and the price has now come down to 1,000 euros. So yeah, big changes in pricing. The next thing is the Lynx shunt and power in. So that's this strip here. So this is like the big bus bar and the main system fuse and the shunt. That came to about 1,000 euros in total. The fuses, so all this has fuses in, and I got some spare fuses to have in stock and everything, and I actually bought the incorrect fuses at the beginning, so I had to buy some extra fuses as well. So I spent 300 euros on fuses. The Serbo GX, which is the computer, like the brains of the system, that was 300 euros. And then the touchscreen here for the Serbo GX, that was 312 euros. Sorry, 329 euros. So we've got two different batteries here. Again, I did buy them at different times, so the prices have varied. Again, the prices of all this stuff has come down massively, particularly batteries. Batteries have got much cheaper. So the battery, so I've got, let me just have a look. So the first battery, which was this one here, the battery, the bare metal case, and the BMS, which is like the battery computer, and the balancer was 739 US dollars, not euros, but US dollars. And the inside the actual battery cells, so inside here we've got 16 battery cells, which brings us up to 16 kilowatt hours in this battery. So those 16 cells cost 2,192 US dollars. So that was this battery. Then we actually have underneath, these batteries sit on trolleys. I didn't have to buy these trolleys. I just thought it was kind of neat having they just sell these matching trolleys, which basically puts the batteries on wheels so you can wheel them around. Those two battery trolleys were 359 euros and 11, dollars, US dollars, 359 US dollars. Okay, and the second battery, the case cost $719.99, and the 16 battery cells inside were 1,952 US dollars. Those prices also include shipping. So the thing about the battery cells is the shipping can rack up considerably. The actual batteries now have come down about 40% in price now recently. So yeah, I bought them when I was paying quite a lot per cell, and now the prices, sharply fallen. The price of the actual battery cases and the BMSs and everything haven't really changed that much. They're a little bit cheaper, but the battery cells right now are a lot cheaper. Okay, so let's have a look at what else there is. So I've included the cable. I've just put an extra budget in here of 500 euros for other things which I couldn't remember. So I'm sure there were other things I purchased, other bits of cable, things I ordered off Amazon when we ran out of things. Editing Sarah here. Two things I forgot to include in the price: delivery and VAT. So the company we bought the solar panels from and all the Victron equipment from have charged us VAT and delivery separately. So they charged us €400 for delivery. Very expensive to get solar panels delivered, by the way. And the VAT on all the Victron equipment and solar panels came to €2,467. Right, so not including the tooling, not including the metal roof, not including the scaffolding tower, and also not including the cost of actually renovating the plant room. So we, we concreted the floor, dry lined the room, and all of that. So not including all of that, we spent €28,497. So call it, 28,500 euros. So yeah, quite a lot. Now, we could have done this considerably cheaper, but I wanted to have a system which would last 20 years without having to replace inverters. For me, it was really important to have a super high quality Rolls-Royce inverter. For me, that was the most important thing. I wanted clean power for all of my computer equipment, something that would work flawlessly with my Tesla. So, the Victron equipment, it all comes with a 5-year guarantee, which was really important for us. So that's kind of like why we went with the Victron. Now, we could have saved a lot of money by doing things like not buying a Serbo GX and using a Raspberry Pi, for instance, not having a touch screen. We could just use a phone. So there's all sorts of things we could have saved money. We didn't have to buy the solar racking. We could have just used Unistrut. So, we could have obviously, knocked several €1,000s off the price, I'm sure. But yeah, we wanted to do this. And I think a lot of people will say, well, what's going to be the payback time and blah, blah, blah. Well, for us, it's not about that. I was saying to Dave, the other day, we were talking about this, and it's kind of like, I didn't buy a Tesla thinking, oh, what's going to be the payback time of buying a Tesla versus, how much money am I saving on diesel or petrol or gas or whatever? What's going to be the payback time of owning a Tesla? No, I bought a Tesla because it's cool. It's like super fast. I enjoy it. It's a techie kind of car, and I am a techie myself. I really enjoy it. And it's exactly the same thing with the solar system. I didn't install the solar system thinking, oh, I'm doing it because I want to save money on electricity. What's going to be the payback time? I did it because, firstly, to help us against power cuts. Secondly, for us, it's really important to be energy independent. That's kind of like a really big thing for us, not to be reliant on the grid. So those are the two big things. And also I'm a techie as well, so I love fiddling with stuff. I love building things. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I mean, obviously, yes, we could have done it a lot cheaper. And the other thing to bear in mind is, we do use an incredibly large amount of electricity. Now, I am including in the description of this video a link to the Victron system that we are using. So this is like a link for the public to use. So you can click on that link and that will take you to a panel and you'll be able to see our system and look at our stats in real time. And we do use a lot of power. In the summer, we don't use so much electricity, but in the winter, we can use up to 100 kilowatt hours of power per day. So, we do use a lot, not every day, but some days. But in the winter particularly, we are using several megawatt hours of electricity per month. So yeah, now we are waiting for our next electricity bill to come in. As soon as that electricity bill has come in, what I will do is I'll do a cost breakdown of exactly how much power we have consumed in the last 2 years, or 3 years rather, and then we can start comparing that to what our new bills are, and we can have a look at the difference. And it's going to be very interesting seeing what that is during the winter. The other thing which we are doing is we are expanding the system. So I'm about to install another 19 panels on the roof. Well, I say about to install them, I'm going to order them. So next week I'm going to be ordering those panels. And then maybe in a month or so time, we will start installing those on the roof. And then later on, I'm going to be getting another couple of batteries to bring everything up to 60 kilowatt hours, because that's really what we need, I think, for the winter. And this system is not designed for the summer, really. It's designed for the winter, which is why we have massively oversized the system. And actually, when you look at the stats and when we're looking at the real-time energy readout, usually on a sunny day at about 10:30, 11 o'clock, something like that, you know, we're getting 11 kilowatts from the solar or 10 kilowatts from the solar, and then everything will start ramping down. The solar charge controllers will ramp right down to maybe 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatts, simply because the batteries are full. We don't need the extra power in the house. We're only using a couple of kilowatts of power. Maybe we're only using a kilowatt of power in the house. So the solar system almost shuts down because we don't need the power. So we're not actually even using the full system to its full capacity at the moment, which is kind of crazy, really. But like I said, the reason we have such a big system is so that when it's cloudy and on those winter days where we have a lot less sunlight, then hopefully, you know, we're going to see some savings. Now we realize that, you know, during the winter the days are much shorter and it's more cloudy, but it's going to be interesting seeing you know, how much we can generate during the winter. Anyway guys, let me know what you think and please do comment below the video. Love reading your comments. That really spurs me on to create the next video, and let me know what you'd like to see next. Now, just to let you know, I have got some different things in the mail which I'm waiting to arrive, and we're going to be installing those very, very soon in the plant room. So watch this space, and I'll catch you next time.